Yo, welcome to this video where I'm going to be trying to break down how I analyze replays for you to get better at Rocket League. You can also, after this video, my goal is for you to be able to analyze your own replay after me telling what I focus on and some rules that I cover while I do these replays. So this first replay, we're going to be reviewing It's Kendo. And before we're starting, I'm going to cover a couple rules that I always use while doing these replays. And the first one is you never blame your teammates. This is because you want to improve as an individual in the game, and your teammates are not going to be sticking with you when you're eventually going to get to SSL while trying to improve. And the second rule is mistakes do happen, but there are also positives that happen, so make sure to also point out the positives that do happen within the game, so you can maybe amplify those. With that being said, without getting out of the way, I'm gonna try and analyze this replay, and while we are gonna analyze this replay, I'm gonna try and explain why I think what I think and how I come to certain conclusions, right? I'm not gonna do the whole replay, just gonna go like halfway. So we're actually now getting started with Kendo. Thank you so much, Kendo, for sending in his replay in my Discord server. Do appreciate that. So right off the bat, with this kickoff, right? A lot of kickoffs do happen in the game. It's literally something that is guaranteed to happen within the game, at least once, right? A kickoff is guaranteed to happen. So it is very important to try to master the kickoff, because it literally can give you a lot of goals at the beginning, especially for the people that play ones. You know that having a really strong kickoff does help. So what I immediately see in this kickoff is that Kendo goes towards the mid boost here, but the ball's going towards the other side. And because we're not going to blame teammates, if your teammate messes up here, it is an open net. It kind of depends on how fast the opponents are. But if the opponents are very fast, this is an open net, right? So you want to try and consider, like, okay, do I go for the big boost or do I go for the small pads, right? Small pads are so underrated. You can get so much boost from just the small pads. Get a little over bird's eye view for yourself. Look at the small pads over here. You can see there's one, like you can like create paths, right? So for example, after kickoff, you could take this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. How much is that? That's like 5 pads. So that's like 60 boost, right? That is more than enough to defend. And you don't need to go out of your way to grab a mid pad, to grab a big boost. Especially when you look at it like a bird's eye view, you see like, where's the play going? Where's the play? And where are you going? You can see that you're completely out of the play. You want to be in the play as much as possible because you want to have the most influence in the play, right? Because you want to rank up. You want to be the best on the field. Because if you're the best on the field, you can decide whether you win or not. It's as simple as that. If you're playing bad, you could lose. If you're playing really well, you can win. That's how the pro rank up. That's how we rank up as you get better. That is also why pros don't get stuck in platinum lobbies, because they have the same teammates as every plat is complaining about their teammates, but somehow the pros rank up and you don't. You gotta consider like, okay, is it just me that's doing something wrong then, right? And I'm kind of going like random. I'm being a bit random here. I don't have a script or anything, so just bear with me. I hope it just kind of will turn into a ramble as we go. So here again, like this touch, it is fine touch. It clears the ball, but you can see like how much information you can gather off 8 minutes of gameplay, or 8 seconds of gameplay. Right? We are 8 seconds into this replay, and we can already gather so much information. This touch, you could say like, oh, that's a good touch. It clears it to your teammate. Well, you know, your teammate does cut you here, so that's a bit unfortunate. But like, what do you also do? You kind of make yourself in an awkward position by hitting the ball hard, right? Because if your teammate was not there, your opponent was also going to get there first. So you want to, like, just like in IRL football, because I like to use that like comparison, because it's funny enough, it's quite a bit of the same sometimes. if you have the position in football as well as in Rocket League, your opponent can't score, right? If you have the ball, they can't score. If they can't touch the ball, they can't score. Unless you're own goaling, but like, we're not gonna take that into consideration. So you could say like, oh, your teammate messes up here. But what are you doing here? What are you doing here? What could prevent this from happening, right? You want to hit this ball like in a way where you can keep the position. So like, to give a very concrete like answer, like a very clear answer, you just need to hit this ball soft, so the ball like gets to your, like, you just pass the ball to yourself, right? Okay, that doesn't happen. So what do you do then? Kendo here decides to push up a bit. And here he decides to go completely backwards, right? If you play 1v1 being completely backwards, you're just gonna get messed up. So you want to be into shadowing position here, right? Like there's a, you can see, like, you can tell a lot from like just a couple seconds of replay. What's going on? What are the opponents doing? What's your teammate doing? Your teammate is messing up. Your teammate could say like, oh, why does my teammate not save this? But Kendo can say, oh, why does my teammate lose the ball there, right? Everybody could say something about anyone, right? But you just want to focus on yourself. What can you do to improve? And this ball does go in. How to prevent this from going in is, you know, it starts off by, you know, not putting up a lot of pressure here because you go for the mid boost, right? And then you get this clear, even though the ball is not going in, I think. It might have gone, actually. Was this ball going in? This ball is not going in. Like, you don't need to hit this ball as well. You can clear this ball, but you can also just wait for it to calm down because the opponents are nowhere near, right? It's all things you can see. So then you hit the ball too hard. Teammate messed up a bit, and then you are completely backwards instead of shadowing. Because you push up a little bit too far while your teammate is losing the ball. And this goes all like very fast. Like these are all like things, right? Because if I would analyze your teammate, I could say a lot. I could say a lot of different things. Like I'll speed run through this, right? He gets the boost. Here you messed up because he wants to go too fast. Right? So he steals the boost. That's good. I could say like, oh, that's good play. And then he turns. But you know, like, okay, they're going to be low on boost. They're both going to be low on boost here, right? They're both going to be low on boost because you just have the ball. You can see is it Elixir? There is a live guy. He goes back. And the Mr. Doublo does not have boost. So what is the threat here, right? What is the threat? There's not really a threat. You've got 100. You know your teammate is going to be back. You still decide to challenge that. Here you cut your teammate. Then you miss the ball, and then you get scored on. So, like, if I was analyzing this guy, I would also not say this is your teammate's fault. I would never say, okay, this is your teammate's fault. We're looking at this from an individual standing point. Right. I hope that is all clear. So those are like little things. That's fine. So I've not seen this replay, by the way. So this is the first time I'm seeing this. Overall, if you look at any pro replay, one thing you're going to be able to tell really quickly is they flip. Always, they almost never really flip, because when you flip, you're stuck in motion, and when you're stuck in motion, you cannot really move left to right really quickly. You're way less agile, right? Sure, you get up some speed. But honestly, being more agile and being also kind of makes you faster. So this flip, you can see that the bounce happens as he's flipping. So especially during collisions, or any collisions. So the ball hits the wall, you know, your opponent has the ball, your teammates are hitting the ball. Like the ball is hitting something. You never really want to flip because this could happen. He flips a little bit to the left, but the ball is bouncing right. If he was not flipping, he would be in a better position to flip to shoot the ball, right? Because if you really look at it, this is just an open net. If he was here in the middle, just kind of waiting, because the positioning he took here off the kickoff, it's actually pretty good. But because he flipped, instead of moving up in the middle, but because he flipped, he's not in the middle anymore, and also not able to score now. which ultimately led to him getting demoed. That's a good challenge. Let's see. So this is also something that actually your teammate actually, Guy Freaks, he actually does something really well. Can be debated. I would say it's all right. Because the reason why I'm saying it's all right is because he forces the ball off the opponent, right? And when the ball is off the opponent, you can challenge the ball pretty freely if you're fast enough. One thing that he doesn't do right is because he does it when Kendo is demoed, right? And it's also very far upfield, so that's why I would say it's not too great because they still have time to recover that. If Kendo, for instance, would have spawned on the other side, he would have not gotten to this. So that's a bit on the luck, more of the luck side. But the challenge is well played. Like, he saw his opportunity. Like, here's the opportunity, right? The ball's coming towards you. There, he's still not up. If he was up already, if Mr. Double was already up, I would have probably gone for the save. But because he's not up, you're able to challenge, right? Because there's nobody on the ball. So the dispossession from teammate is really well done here. So, like, when analyzing a replay, you could also say, like, oh, my teammate did something very well here. Maybe I can try and transfer that to my own gameplay. And this is just pure panic. Like, Kendo doesn't really do anything wrong here. Except for the double jumping. Like, you don't have to double jump all the time, guys. You can jump pretty high with just a single jump. And then just shooting the ball. It's just pure panic. It's an own goal. Oh, well. We're not really looking at the goals too much. Unless it's a goal that's very well outplayed. And that we can analyze to say, like, oh, if you do this and this and this, that's why it works, right? So this is good. This is good. Like, he's just there. Again, you don't want to try and you don't want to have them get the control, right? If they're not with the position, they can't really score. It's just a kickoff goal. Again, if you master your kickoffs, you can get a lot of goals. This is just mastering the kickoff, right? Knowing what's going to happen on a kickoff. Again, this is a great kickoff. Like, you can tell that Kendo is just better at taking kickoffs. You could just tell. So that's why he won that, you know. So that's going to be good for the rest of the game, because whenever you're playing doubles, you always are going to have the same opponent on the kickoff. It doesn't matter if it really doesn't matter. You always are going to have the same one against you. Like, you're always going to be in the same positions as the opponents on the kickoff. So if you always are going to use the method of left goes for kickoff, you're always going to have the same opponent on the kickoff, if that makes sense. Because there is some kind of pattern to it, to the kickoff. I'm not sure what it is. I'm sure somebody has analyzed that there's some sort of pattern. But yeah. Anyway, let's see how this goal came to be, right? So teammate overcommits. So this basically means your teammate leaves you in a 1v2, right? So what do you need to do? Basically, what you want to do here is you want to stall the game as much as possible. Because then your teammate can go behind you, and then you have like a failsafe, right? That they can mess up. So this is a really good fake, actually. You might not see it, but this is just a really good fake. You make him jump, right? You make them panic. You wanna not have them control on the ball. And then they just overcommit somehow. This is actually kind of a sloppy goal, but even though Kendo really doesn't touch the ball here, he actually does, like, he does everything right here. Because somehow, because they are so, like, chasey and they are kind of panicking and they want to hit the ball, which happens in, like, a lot of ranks under GC, mostly under GC, they're just gonna hit the ball for the sake of hitting the ball. You want to try and hit the ball with purpose. If you hit the ball with purpose, you're gonna be so much more ahead of your opponents and your teammates, especially if you're able to keep the possession after that, right? Again, keeping possession is key. This is good. So whenever, this is also a common situation, where do you hit the ball here, right? If you analyze your own replay and you see, okay, on the touch, the ball is going to the opponent, where do you hit the ball then? You know, ideally on the clears, you don't want to hit the ball to your opponent, because when you hit the ball to your opponent, you allow your opponent to get pressure on you, right? And you don't want to get pressured on and eventually getting boost starved to the point where you're gonna mess up at some point. Long clears are also usually pretty good because you also give time to get boost, right? And reposition yourself. So long clears and clears to yourself are usually pretty good. So the touch here is overall pretty good. Moving for a post, very well done. Also, another rule when you are analyzing your replay, are you moving for a post? Are you in a great positions to save the ball? If that's a yes, you're overall doing a good job. Because the reason why Kendo is actually quite awkward here is because he's moving up the post or up the goal, right? Because he's moving up here in the goal, you can see that his backside is quite open, and also he needs to cut his momentum for a save, right? And having low momentum is usually just a lot harder to maneuver around. Again, you're going to be less agile, what we said before. Let's see. Kendo is actually playing very calmly. Like, he's not really worried about anything. Like, this read is very hard. You can see, like, oh, this angle is so hard, he's not even worrying about it, right? Especially how he's positioning himself. A higher ranked player would probably score this. Because it's not an impossible angle to score, but he just didn't read the bounds, right? So knowing your rank is also could be important. Even though, like, if you wanna go more long term, you don't wanna leave your opponent in this spot to try, you know, to just hope for a miss. Let's see. Another thing. This is, we kind of covered this already, but like, are you covering your net? Can you let your teammate mess up here in this position? Just like what we did all the way in the beginning, getting a kickoff, right? On the kickoff where you got scored on eventually. Are you covering your net? Can you cover your opponent's or your teammate's mistake? Your teammate's going for kind of a weird, kind of breezy. He gets beat and you're just completely out of position, right? Are you in a good position here? What can your teammate do here? Is he going to go for his own success? Like what you've been seeing from the entire game? You know, recognize what your opponent or what your teammate is doing all game long. Has he passed a single time, or is he just going for his own little thing all the time? So far, what we've seen, he's just going for his own thing all the time. He steals the ball, he cuts off your rotation. So why would you play for the pass here? You don't want to play for the pass here. So the reason why this would not be a great position is because you just know he's not going to pass. And especially when he's going for such a play, you're just going to be out of position when he gets beat, right? You always want to have that possibility. Like, okay, if he's getting beat, am I in a great position? I know I'm just dropping a lot of information at once. I hope it's still sort of clear what I'm saying. But yeah, that could have been a goal. Again, you want to probably pressure a little bit earlier here because, again, you don't want to get them the control. You don't want to have them have possession. Great demo dodge, actually. I didn't even see that. I don't know if that was intentional, but overall, if I'd say, okay, that's intentional, that's great game sense, knowing what your surroundings are doing, right? And that's just gonna be another goal. Great 50. He's just last, right? You can also, like, if you analyze this from the opponent's POV, you could say like you can really like see what's going wrong here. So he misreads this, but he still goes for the jump, right? Which makes him overcommit. Now Mr. Double O tries to actually slow it down, but then this guy we're watching right now, he's actually going for a demo, but that leaves his net completely open again. Like he's going like he's not covering those rules. What we thought, like, okay, am I covering my teammate if he messes up? No, he's not. You can go for a demo here, but are you covering your teammate? No, you're really not. Because you're flipping totally to the left side, right? Which leads you getting scored on. So, like, even looking from opponent's perspective, you can learn a lot. And now we're actually up 4-1. I don't mind going, like, you going for this boost here. Like, the thing is, I did say, like, don't blame teammates, but obviously there are some things you kind of do expect from your teammates to just do. This is fine, though, even if it is an open net. Whoa, that is scary. Let's see. I do very appreciate the calmness Kendo is presenting here. You can see that even like by not being overly mechanical, because Kendo is not really doing too much mechy stuff, right? But he's doing the things that he's doing mostly right, especially on the ball touches. Kendo is actually playing an amazing game here. Even though it might not, like, I'm pointing out a lot of mistakes, he's playing an amazing game here. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm pointing out his positives. This is a great 50, even though it's a bit scary. You could play the 50 a bit differently. But this is a great 50. He's playing very calm. Like, his defense is overall pretty good. He's not overcommitting. He's just chilling, you know? You don't need to go all fast and zoomy, because you can see, like, they're just panicking so much. And now the ball's basically free. He's not going for the ball. Which he could. Like, here you can go for the ball because the ball is basically free, and you've got the best position to go for the ball. But I also get that you don't go for the ball because your teammate is still, like, in the play, right? If you want to try and speed up your gameplay, you want to keep that ball moving in your own possession. Like, right now, you're kind of asking, like, your teammate to pass, and he does, which is great from your teammate. But if he doesn't, you're just committing to defense, right? And why would you commit to defense if you can just try and keep up the pressure? Even though this aerial's a bit wonky, like, this is great pressure. You do want to move out, though. So, like, again, with the 4-post rotation, get this boost, but just move out. Because if you move out here, you give your teammate an opportunity to actually challenge, right? Because you can tell here, he's actually going for the boost. That's a visual glitch, by the way. I think he's on low boost here. Yeah, he is. So, he goes all the way back. You make a play. You go for the big boost. If you move out here, you allow your teammate to continue to play, right? So, again, like, be aware of your surroundings. You want to keep the game flowing. You want to be agile. If you move far post, again, which in this case would be get the boost and move out like this, so your teammate can just challenge the ball, and then you'll be in the middle you can keep up pressure, but you're also covering your net. Now you're going to be depending on your teammate again, right? And because everybody knows your teammate sucks, you don't want to do that. Great positioning. Again, like, this is no danger. You can really tell, like, a lot of players would like, kind of panic. And, like, say, oh, he's going for an aerial. What do I do? But what is actually happening? He's not even aerialing towards the net, right? If that makes sense. So, like, why panic here? He's just keeping calm. Just clearing the ball. This is fine. Teammate spawns. Again, moving far post a little bit. Which is fine. Again, he messes up. He just catch the ball. This is I love this gameplay. Go for a breezy of his own. He does mess up. You're winning 4-1. You can have a little bit of fun. Moving far post. Like, what are they doing? This will happen in so many ranks, guys. You can if I would analyze these guys, I would say, like, what are you guys doing? Like, you guys are just hitting the ball around, but you're not really doing anything. Like, you're just there. Look at how much boost they're wasting. He's going for a flip reset or whatever, but, like, you guys are both not there. He's he's at most he's outplaying his teammate, if you get what I mean. Going for a double tap. He actually scores this. Wow, that's well played. Good double tap. Great positioning as well. Like, you can see. Okay, oh, teammate's gonna cut me here because this is actually Kendo's ball, right? This is actually Kendo's ball, and Guy Freak should actually move behind Kendo here because Kendo is actually up front. But Kendo recognized that because his teammate is kind of a chaser. He just goes back and he gets the double. If I would analyze this on mechanicals, right? Because right now we're covering game sense mostly and what's happening on the field. But if I would analyze this on mechanics, what could I focus on if I was just going to focus on my mechanics, right? When I'm analyzing. What can I do here? How does this look? How much boost am I using? So you have like 80 boosts, right? You have 80 boosts going for this aerial. You hit it, and you exactly are on 0, right? The double tap is fine. If I would focus on mechanics, your hits are fine. The hits are powerful, which is good, right? The hits are powerful. You want the hits to be powerful because that's harder to stop, and it's also easier to read, actually. But if you look at purely mechanical, and especially the air roll, where are you air rolling to, right? You want to get the most out of your aerials and your momentum, you want to keep your car as straight as possible. Your car will go the fastest, the straightest you are, because you're not boosting towards the left or the right or back or whatever, right? This could have been an easier go if you practice on that, right? If to keep your car more straight while air rolling. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys have learned a little bit about how I analyze replays, and I hope you can implement this as well in your own replays and to get better yourself by looking at replays at a certain point of view. That was this video. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure to like the video and also leave a subscription in the below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.